End of the year is coming. Holidays are very close. First thing I wanted to say thank you, especially to my team, mentors, and everyone in the company. It has been a great year for me, great learning experience. And when a year is coming to an end, everybody knows that we need to check the mirror, the activities, all the goals that we posted them at the beginning of the year, and check what are the results. For me, this year, it was, as I told you guys, it was great. It was a great learning experience as an individual. But that's the positive side. But always we got also the negative side. But that negative side is also, it contains some power on it. I mean, our mistakes, if we see them with a different attitude, from another point of view, it's a great opportunity to grow. And that's what it's all about today. Power of mistakes. So I'm not very familiar with the, some famous oops. People that is very important and famous, they had made mistakes too. You got Martin Luther King. You got to see in public speaking. That's Sylvester Stallone, rejected 30 times before Rocky. Albert Einstein, he failed in middle school at 15 years old, and he was 15. Everybody knows that Steve Jobs, he got fired for his own company. Steven Spielberg, one of the greatest directors, rejected in South California film school. And the creator of Harry Potter, rejected for way too many publishers. There's, in my research trying to do this, there's a relationship between the mistakes we make and the emotions. And what they discover is our body will respond to failure with the same experience like if we had like physical pain. So those emotional experiences are attached to the failure too. And what's the most difficult emotion and experience is shame. When we make a mistake, we feel ashamed. And shame is very difficult to handle because we are programmed since we are children to avoid the mistakes for in the way we grew up when we were children. So in the way we stop seeing shame related to failure, we're gonna have more success. So there's a science. They run this through a model. Mistakes, they run this through. There's a guy right here, Dashun Wang, Center of Science and Innovation. They run a model like if you succeed after a failure, what's the reason? It will be luck or will be your learning curve. I mean, you just keep trying and keep trying, or it's just luck. And I mean, they discovered that luck is like a coin toss. It's just like if you throw a coin, it will be pretty much win or fail. It will be a repeated result. So that's not the point. But in the other side, learning, you will think, if we try and keep trying, we finally will learn because we just do that. Each new attempt, we will learn from the previous. That's not the point. Because we're going to end up with the same result at the end of the learning process if we just keep going. They discovered running that model that there's good learners and bad learners when you make mistakes. That's in every single field, like in your personal life, and also in a corporate environment. So what happened is, the difference they found was the worst learners of their mistakes, they are not incorporating anything or any component from the previous steps into the new try. So basically, they start always from scratch. When they try to do that, what happened is the learning process will stop at one point. And you just keep trying, and there's no progress. When on that model, they assume that there's some components when you fail that you can reuse and adapt to the new process you are trying to make, to repair your mistakes. For example, in our company budget, we did something wrong. We did not calculate our numbers correctly, or in our design process, there was something wrong, and we realized that there are some components that we can reuse from that mistake we committed, and we can adapt that component into the new process. And when we ran that model, they discovered that there's a threshold. There's a threshold that separates the eventual failure from the success. And we need, what happened there?
It was a mistake.
There's a mistake. let's bring the components and let's reuse the components. And there's a threshold that you need to identify, reusing those components that will allow you to have that success on the process. Because if you keep doing the same thing and repeating the same process and starting from scratch, you're gonna end up with the same results. So the secret of this is be on this, try to reuse those components from the previous mistakes, from the previous processes, not start from scratch, but try to be on that threshold where you can make a real change and be successful. So at the end, we have to dissect, analyze, and incorporate those components in the new attempt to be on that success threshold. So we need to embrace our mistakes. They are not solitary events. They have a reason in our lives, in our personal lives, in our company environment. They have a specific function. It's kind of a shameful experience at the beginning, but it has a great potential. It gives you the gift of courage to try new things. And that's my experience here in this company. It's part of our human experience. We need to see them as stepping stones in order to grow. And the very first thing that is very important is pretty much my own experience here with my team, with the CAP team. My mistakes are kind of that connective tissue. It has that effect because with my mistakes, when I make a mistake by doing my drafting, if I start to ask Chuck, what I saw on my experience is everybody will try to connect to each other to bring up the best answer to my question. So mistakes are the connective tissue between individuals that will allow you, a community, corporate environment, even our family to grow up. So we need to embrace them at the end of the year. We need to be happy and grateful. Do not be ashamed of your mistakes. That's the message that I have for you today. And that was it.